Greetings and salutations. What's up, FAMU Lee? O&G StrikeZone. Keith Hadley here. And Marcus Green, Brian is on assignment, and we'll see if Kelvin can make it as well. But, you got kind of the recruitniks of the group here, and we're not getting to talk recruiting like normal. So that's a little different from us for us, isn't it, Marcus?
Yes, sir. But glad to be here. I know I've been MIA for a couple weeks, so glad to be back in the saddle.
So thanks to everybody in the chat. If you're watching the My BCSN on Jericho broadcast, shows running over there. So, random thoughts is still going on. So we're going to jump back and get that feed popping a little bit. But right now, we're everywhere we're supposed to be, right? So what's up, family? Kind of go through our shout outs here. See you, South Florida Rattler. South Florida Rattler was here early. Like I was in the green room in the back. And I was like, "Oh, you already here? You beat me to the punch." So
I think he and Kelvin got something going on, trying to see who's first.
What's up, Edwin? Good to see you there. Look, a Dallas Fort Worth Jaguar. I mean, at this point, look, didn't the Jaguars, the Cowboys just signed N'Kobe Durant? I think I saw something like that. So
They did.
I was like, yes, I'm excited about that. So
that makes 3 HBCU products on their team.
4. If they kept Isaiah Land, it's 4.
Yeah, I thought who's the other?
So Isaiah Land, the defensive end from Jackson State.
Oh, okay, he signed. Okay, I didn't realize that.
He was there at the end of the season last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Marquise Bell and now Durant. So, I mean, I'm just saying, 4 on top of my head there.
They're getting that old thing back. Back in the day, the Cowboys and the Steelers and the Raiders are like HBCU Central.
Absolutely. Look, some good times there, man. Look, I see you, Kenneth Rozier. What's up, cuz? South Florida Rattlers. I was getting a little shout out. Ezekiel Love, what's a good family? Look, okay. Makiba West. Okay.
Makiba West.
Makiba. Oh, Makiba. Look, see, it's different when you're trying to run and read at the same time. What's up, Ashton? Good to see you, man. Sometimes we see Ashton in the the stands and everywhere else. What's up, Kelvin? Oh, Kevin, my bad. Kevin Butler. Look, married 305. Look, I was on Sprinkler myself. What's up, Marcus? We see you over there, man. And of course, Marcus got both Marcuses up there, man. So
right. And I was trying to drop an article, but it didn't work. I guess it got clipped.
Which article you was trying to drop in there?
Oh no, just something. I just saw this today. It's non-sports related. That somebody put out a study that HBCU graduates seem to have better health.
Hey, it's something in the water. And look, I got to see if we got it over here, talking about FAMU Athletics might be getting forgiven for, I believe, the $4 million debt, the rest of that debt. I don't know if you saw that yet. I got to give credit to the blog on that. So I saw it on the blog. I saw it on the Twitter.
Yeah, I know Kelvin gave us a heads up on the agenda item for discussion, but, I was kind of shaky, like, okay, which way they going to go with this?
I got friends in low places. That's all I got, right? What's up? Fat Mouse Sports. Y'all know Troy is out over there, man. Shout out.
Miss Alice.
Care for Tally. Okay, Miss Alice. And then Jael or Joel. See, man, look, I got kids who speak like 5 different languages. So you never know what I'm going to say right there, man. Proximity HBCU is good for your health, man. So other than that, man, introduction to the show. What's going on, man? How's it going, Marcus? Everything good on your end?
Yeah, everything's good. I was out last week. Had a chance to go out a little bit. It wasn't quite spring break, but did get a chance to travel around and got back Friday. Didn't get a chance to catch all of the show. I saw bits and pieces, so I have to catch up with it and see. But all in all, everything's good.
Okay. Likewise. Over setting this up. I'll set that thing up in a minute. The conference call. We're gonna try to do a little something today, man. Set that up. But a lot of HBCU basketball going on. NCAA tournament. I thought I was impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of quietly, and I'll ask the question here, just because it's just us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? Just kind of putting that out there, do you think maybe HBCUs are starting to work their way out of being on that bubble every season? Because you start to look at the SWAC, I believe 3 years running, the SWAC has won that game. The MEAC comes in there, gets it, and you kind of look in there between the two conferences, we're talking between $4 to $6 million in revenue that they've generated for themselves just from those 4 games. So is that maybe where HBCUs get out of that conversation of being in that 16 spot in the big NCAA tournament?
We'll have to see, just because we see what the power schools are doing. They're clearly, and I think it's been their agenda the last 40 years or so, but clearly trying to delineate between them and everybody else. But in terms of talent and production, I mean, this year we've had upsets, Power Four wins on the women's side. I can't remember if we had one this year on the men's side between the conferences, but I know a couple of years ago, I think Grambling got, I forgot who it was. Was it Iowa State or someone? And I know, well, it's going back a few years ago. FAMU beat Iowa State, but I forgot who Grambling beat last year or 2 years ago. So the talent's coming up. And so I do believe that we're going to end it, and I'm hoping with Commissioner in as the men's basketball committee lead that he's helping to promote that narrative, and I'm sure he probably is. But I'm just curious to see how, like a repeat team, if they make it back the next year, like if Howard men make it on the MEAC and PV makes it on the in the SWAC, and not necessarily a low seed, but like a high seed coming in, how the committee will view them as repeaters, and someone that's up and coming and consistent, or is it going to be looked at as downing the conference because, okay, we got the same people versus, you don't have strength, a good conference strength. And that's the thing that we fighting against all the time. But I do think the talent and the coaching has definitely ratcheted up.
Yeah, I like I definitely like what I've seen, and honestly, I think PV was just a shock of the season for me as far as just basketball wise. Like that was definitely not on my bingo card. I did not have Southern losing like that. I mean, not Southern, FAMU losing like that. I didn't have Cookman losing like that. I didn't have any of those teams not finishing where they finished, or where I felt like they should have. So that was interesting. And then, as you mentioned, on women's side, we did get a little bit of Southern action. They won a game. They made a little money on the side there. And then you start looking over the NAIA. How long can that man stay over there at Langston?
Somebody's gonna, I don't know if they do the Brinks truck anymore. Somebody's gonna get a Bitcoin stash and throw it at him, because I mean he's been, what is it, 3 of the last 4 years, maybe 4 of the last 5. They've been at least in the Final Four, if not the title game, and haven't gotten over that hump. And I didn't see the final score happen last night, but I did see that they weren't victorious. But I mean, at one point, when was it? A couple of years ago, I think just before the extension was given to Coach McCullum, we were talking like, hey, what's up? What's up, big head?
Right. And look, you're not the only one who's kind of was in that space. Like I know for me personally, and sorry for those looking at the chat. There we go. I was trying to figure out how to kind of get it to where it would kind of be on one side there. Sorry, probably low, but I'm with you. Like, and honestly, that was one of the coaches I had on the list. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy with the Charlie Ward hire. I think it's
Mhm.
bodes well for what you're trying to do. I think he is a good addition. I mean, you just look, I know I came back Sunday and I was kind of dreading because I had to leave a little earlier. And I was like, man, I can't stop at the Busy Bee to see Charlie Ward. But you can see where he's spreading out and he's using his business ventures and what he's trying to do at the university to really benefit both. So I think that's going to be something interesting to see. I think you do have to kind of have that mindset of, okay, we're knowing with Coach Ward, this is probably his last coaching stop. How long is he going to coach? So not doubting, not questioning, but just
Mhm.
kind of putting that in the ether, like, hey, kind of I'm always keeping an eye on the future, always keeping that mind to the future, and continue to build up and build better, because it's a pretty good thing so far, man. I think so far, I think SWAC basketball is in a safe place right now, and
Mhm.
I'm like you, Marcus. I think with talent acquisition, especially if you look at a team like FAMU, we were about 2 guys away from making a deep run. Like, I think if you had 2 guys on this roster, you get an NCAA tournament where the conversation might have changed a little bit in the way of FAMU. I ain't saying you would have beat Duke or anything, but you probably would have made the tournament.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. And just to your point, I guess to my earlier point, I'm not advocating for replacing Charlie Wars. I hope it doesn't come off like that. But I'm saying a few years ago, before he was hired, even back then, because I think he came from, if I remember correctly, I don't want to get it wrong. Did he come from Talladega and then he went to Lincoln? Or am I getting
I,
him mixed up with someone?
I believe so.
But
I don't remember off the top of my
but I
head.
mean, his name has been positively spoken about in his accolades and his record for like at least last 4 or 5 years. So, in terms of what Coach Ward is bringing, not only NBA experience, having won a state championship locally and the local ties, I think it'll be a bounty for him being at FAMU. So I'm not advocating his, departure or anything like that, but just looking at Coach Wright, and if somehow in the next couple of years, if he ends up in the SWAC, and you add that to the coaching acumen, the coaching that we already have. Now, I'm not advocating for anybody else to get fired or anything, but I'm just saying if you're adding quality coaches and you just up the overall league play,
Hmm.
that kind of ties into the question you asked then earlier in terms of HBCU basketball elevating and putting pressure on the committee to say, hey, look, we have a quality product. You're not giving us our props as it relates to seeding and as it relates to always having to go in the playing game. Now, the big bonus with the playing game is that a few years ago, they started making it count towards units. Whereas for years and years and years, I want to say maybe 5 years ago, maybe 10, I don't know if it's been that long, but they didn't count it as a unit towards earning money for the payout. But now it does. So that we actually have two games, the playing game and the first round game, if we're fortunate enough in the last few years we have been to get through the playing game. So that adds even more bounty coming back to the conference from men's and women's basketball.
Absolutely. And I guess since we're kind of in this area here, when you're kind of looking just in general, right, as far as basketball and kind of how this is going, we also saw where Howard, they lost to Ohio State. Maryland East Shore makes it to the NIT. I'm starting to wonder now. You kind of mentioned a little bit of going towards strength of schedule, and I want to make sure we're cognizant of our time. I know we 8:30. We got a little special guest supposed to come in, but
Mm-hmm.
when we're looking at this, do you think with the HBCUs, and you hear the rumblings every once in a while, HBCUs kind of need to do their own thing, maybe do their own thing. Is there an opportunity for maybe HBCUs to either do some of these mid-season or postseason tournaments, or some of these different things? Because you look at the Florida states and the Floridas of the world, you have the Orange Bowl basketball invitational, where they have a basketball invitational that centers around a bowl game. Do you think within the HBCU atmosphere we can do something similar, maybe surrounding the Celebration Bowl, so it turns it into really a weeks long events? We're going to get to this later where we talk about what Coach Quinn Gray said, and we're probably going to try to again open up call lines to talk about that. But is that something where you see HBCUs maybe moving in that direction to make something like the Celebration Bowl a week-long event, so that also helps with that attendance of, hey, you came for the basketball game maybe on a Wednesday or Tuesday through Thursday, and then you just stayed for Saturday's Celebration Bowl?
It could be. It has a lot of potential, and in fact, and I don't know the time, so it may be a little off from say the Celebration Bowl week. But I know Chris Paul had an invitational, and I don't remember exactly the timing of it, but it seemed like it was around the Christmas holiday, but not necessarily during Celebration Bowl week. But if we, I guess, just working out the schedules with either the conferences or the individual teams and seeing how I can make it work. Yeah. And if you can get someone to sponsor, if we talk to all the Celebration Bowl folks and get like John Grant and get them on board to kind of support the holistic um, event,
Mm-hmm.
then I think it's a possibility.
Yeah,
Now,
and it's, yeah.
a postseason tournament, I think might be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we can have our own little NIT or BIT, whatever you want to call it. And just because there's so much competition and so much ingrained audience for March Madness that I don't know for another basketball tournament just with us. Now, if we get invites to some of these other, I don't want to call them secondary, but other tournaments like I think CBI, but I think I don't know if they went out of business or didn't do it this year, or the NIT, something along those lines.
Okay. I agree with that. And I think when you're kind of looking at sponsors, especially in that Atlanta area, you have State Farm, you have some of those companies there. I think that's a great opportunity for that, So just kind of putting that out there in the ether. I know folks are, you know, we kind of get out there, we start spitballing and thinking, and we can put some things together and just try to find some different ways. Hopefully, looking forward to FAMU being able to capitalize, of course, but just HBCUs in general, and maybe some of your I don't even want to say better or larger HBCU brands, but as you mentioned, Marcus, when you're kind of scaffolding this out, you bring in the Alabama A&M women's basketball team. We know what they've been. We've seen what Coach Thornton has been up there, and really, she's charismatic. Like you really part of the basketball thing. To me, basketball is more so about the personality of the coaches than it is always about the players. And a lot of times, a coach with a good personality can kind of bring out some of the fans and some of the crew and to really go out there and support along with winning and whatnot. So I think that's just one of the things out there. Like get those people out there. Like we saw what the prime effect was, but we also know what it's like when schools like a FAM, you have a coach that we can rally behind, we can get behind, that excites the fan base, that reinvigorates us. And if you can add that to the Celebration Bowl, plus have those schools maybe even bring their bands and have their bands participate in those Battle of the Bands or in that Battle of the Band week, that could be something else to kind of add just a little bit of flavor to it. Because part of the idea for me is, and much to Coach Gray's point, you want people coming to support other teams, but I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't want to see all y'all. Like some of y'all teams I don't want to see. And some of y'all's I do want to see. But like I know I was looking already. I don't know if you saw the rumblings for UNC, and somebody put out there like Michael Jordan's private jet was up there, and I was like, I ain't gonna hold you. If Michael Jordan's coaching, I'm going to watch. They might suck. I don't care. I'm not even a UNC fan, but I'm gonna go watch because it's MJ. Like that's the kind of stuff that you can get, And I hate to be the guy who, celebrity coach, whatever. Okay, yeah, I'm normally not a supporter of that, but I'm not a UNC fan either. So if they lose every game, I don't care. I just want to see MJ. like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but Carolina's, well, I don't know. We want to get off topic, but Carolina's a brand where they don't have to bring Jordan in to pull in fans. I mean, they've got
No.
enough history where they don't have to do it. And I don't know if he'd be a consideration. Since we're on the topic, I don't know if it was a fake news or what, but I saw somewhere that Bill Self just retired from Kansas.
Oh wow.
Now I don't know if it's fake news. It could be
Yeah.
because I saw it on Twitter, on X, and people
Can't trust
creating
anything
all
on
these
X.
fake things just to get traction or get attention. But I mean, if he follows the Roy Williams path, just leave Kansas and goes to Carolina.
And he says it's bad information. So yeah, a little quick Google search says it's bad information. Yeah, Twitter got me like
Okay.
that a few times. So
Yeah. Oh, I didn't retweet it. I just saw it and I was like,
nah, I'm with you, Marcus. I don't be retweeting everything. Some stuff be like, I'm gonna hold that close to the vest. I'll wait and see if that happens. So it's gonna be interesting. And you know, the circle of consequences in coaching have definitely hit. So it's interesting to see. I want to see what happens with FAMU basketball. So it's gonna be
yeah,
interesting. We know
yeah.
coaches out recruiting.
Mhm. Yeah, I want to see how the finish this year, because I guess we caught everybody by surprise, including some of us, in terms of how we finished in the season and what that translates into as it relates to players. Because we have I think 6 players who are seniors or graduate students, so we have a lot of holes to fill. And actually, when I get a chance, I might send everything to you and Brian. But I did a little uh, Microsoft Copilot analysis on it, and so it pulled up need positions and all that. So maybe I can get together and look at that and fill in the names that we've seen. I've gotten offers to see where those players would fit to fill a need, for those positions of need.
Absolutely. No, I think that'll be kind of smooth there, man. It looks like our guest might be in the background. So what we'll do is,
All right.
uh, you want to take we're gonna take a quick break, or not a quick break. We'll take a break so that they can
Mhm.
get themselves all together. We'll get ourselves together, man. Look, O&G StrikeZone, Keith Hadley, Marcus Green, Brian's on assignment, and Kelvin, he's also on assignment. So you might get some special guest appearances when we come back. Marcus, who's our guest tonight?
We have Miss, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, Miss Maricela Carlos-Valentino, a member of the illustrious and comparable Marching 100.
I love it. I love it. It looks like she might be wearing some Greek organization stuff. I don't want to say the wrong one. So know how we all get about that. All right, y'all. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk about the incomparable Marching 100, what they've done. And, y'all might have seen a little video out there on the other side of this 1 minute and some change break. We're going to come back to the O&G Strike Zone.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Guess who's back? We are back. We're back. And our special guest, oh, there she goes. How's it going there? Let's see if we can make this a nice little 3 group. There we go.
Amazing. How are you guys this evening? Hello.
I am well.
Good evening. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, yeah. So let's first start off. I guess I came across your Instagram reel a couple weeks ago.
Gotcha.
And I saw you were doing behind the scenes for the video shoot for the theme for the NBA, for NBA on Prime.
Gotcha.
So let's first start off with, please share your name, your hometown, or your major area of study, and your classification, any hobbies or favorite activities so our audience can get to know you.
Of course. Okay, I guess I got to give my infamous FAMU greetings. So greetings, everyone. I am Maricela Carlos-Valentino, a junior business administration scholar with a concentration in marketing and a minor in music industry from the Bay Area, California, by way of the 404 Atlanta, Georgia. I currently am ranked sergeant in the Marching 100, also serving as vice president of the Marching 100. Another, things outside of the 100, I love the culture when it comes to FAMU, and especially within the 100. I really think that the band is the soul of the campus. So I'm heavily involved in that and everything music. And as you guys can see, I'm wearing my, 1946 for, my Founders Week for Tau Beta Sigma, National Honorary Band Sorority Incorporated. I currently serve as chapter historian. I came spring 25. And outside of, all the businessy school extracurriculars, all that, I just love romanticizing my life, to be quite honest. So it's honestly so great to just be able to give everything a platform and just like, okay, cool. And especially when it came to that promo that you saw, I almost didn't record it. Fun fact. But we just got done with the Michael Jackson promo. And I was like, dang, that would have been great to get a little bit of behind the scenes footage to like really show all the hard work and like how like fast things really move behind the scenes. And I was really glad to capture all of that for the common Amazon Prime video. So yeah.
Okay. Now, I have two quick questions. One, you said by way of Atlanta. So are you from Atlanta and moved to the Bay Area or vice versa?
Vice versa. So I was born in California, specifically Hayward, California, kind of, by San Fran, Oakland, all that jazz. Most of my family is from there. And we actually moved to Atlanta when I was around 8, actually, like 2012-ish. So, I was still, most of, my growing up happened there, but I still have a whole bunch of memories from California. So best of both worlds.
Okay. And you mentioned, and you may come up a little bit later, because most of the questions we're going to ask you around that, but was the filming done all on the same day for both promos?
It was not. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that the Michael Jackson promo was done, I think it had just came out like 2 days before recording for the common video. And I think that took about a week and a half. So, okay, we recorded, and then like a week and a half later it came out, and then 2 days later we were onto the common stuff. But everything in regards to like getting music, setting up rosters, like who's going to do what, okay, learning a whole bunch of music happened kind of at the same time. Like as soon as we got into our second semester, Doc was like, okay, we have all these things lined up, because we also had the Atlanta swag performance lined up as well. So it was just like, okay, we don't want the same group of people doing everything. So it's just like, okay, let's kind of divvy it up. And I had the opportunity to do both the Michael Jackson promo as well as the NBA one. Yeah.
All right. Well, Keith, go ahead if you have any questions.
I do. You caught me in the middle of typing it up. But my question is really, could you mention a little bit just about the choreography of the different events? Obviously, you have one for the Michael Jackson, you have one for the NBA, and you also have an event for the NCAA tournament or SWAC tournament. So
Absolutely.
could you just speak about what it takes just from the layperson, the fan who's a band fan or a FAMU fan who doesn't understand the work it takes to really have almost 3 shows that take place simultaneously or that are being constructed at the same time?
Of course, I will say that the 100 does make it look a little easy, y'all, but there is definitely a ton of prep that goes on behind the scenes. And I will say that in regards to preparation, it isn't anything new. Like we're kind of used to not necessarily like last minute stuff, but it's like, okay, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it all right now. And it's just a matter of that go-getter mentality that really keeps us driving and pushing forward, and really having that type of flexibility to be able to pursue these opportunities, especially with such like short notice. And I will say we do have teams and groups of people that can actually come up with these things. So Doc, we have like a dance committee, we have a show planning committee, we have things like that. So I know when it comes to like these certain events, it's like, okay, what did you need from the 100? How can we, as the 100, show who we are? Because we dance and play at the same time. So that's always going to be something that we love to showcase, because it's just like not a lot of people can do it and do it as well as we can. So I know with Michael Jackson, a lot of us are inspired by Michael Jackson, especially when it comes to having our sorority events or like, band events. We're always finding ourselves playing Michael Jackson Experience in the back. And that's what I grew up on. So it's just like, okay, his infamous moves is something that was a true honor to be able to incorporate within our dance routine. And I know our head drum major, Miss Orealua Oluwamadupe, she loves to dance. Like it's just natural to her. So when she was able to come up with certain parts of the dance routine and to be able to give that to us, because it's just like, all right, guys, it's time to dance. It's really time to get loose, to also be open to get out of your comfort zone and to be like, hey, I'm learning something new. It might look crazy, but with all of us doing it all together, it really gives that grand effect. So it usually takes about a couple run-throughs. We usually have like 4 or 5 run-throughs per practice, because it's just like, all right, you guys learn this move, now let's go back to the beginning. All right, something new, go back to the beginning. It's just that matter of like, okay, you do it so well to where it's muscle memory, and then once you get that concept, it's like, Now you can have fun with it. Now you can make it your own. Now you can show out in front of the camera. And now you're able to really have that show wow factor to it. So having two different dance routines, it's like, okay, we still have that same like mentality when it comes to being open, being flexible, but also it's all about execution at the end.
Huh, okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Now, I did have a question, and I guess you kind of answered it, but I was going to ask, as you can see from the gray, that we're in different generations. But I was going to ask, how many band members, yourself included, had an idea of Michael Jackson, given that most of his music was released in previous generations? Now, I know I've seen some things where people are like, I never heard this person before, or only have some kind of tangential. So I was kind of curious, but it sounds as though you guys are pretty well aware of Michael Jackson and other artists from previous generations.
Absolutely. And I will say that there have been instances like that, especially with how traditional the Marching 100 is. And as we keep on approaching newer and newer generations, there was even one instance where someone was just like, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Who's that? What? Like, you're in the 100. What? So it's just like, we have those certain like shocker moments. But I will say that Michael Jackson has led such a left behind such an amazing legacy when it comes to moonwalking, when it comes to influencing the generation today. And even also, like, I've even heard that there's a lot of released projects that he has that are still kind of slowly coming out in regards to, intersecting with today's culture. So we still see little bits of Michael Jackson in a new, different light that we haven't seen before, which is what still amazes me to this day. So even when it comes to Michael Jackson, I would say that the Marching 100 currently still knows about it. And it's just like, when we heard about the opportunity to be able to record it, it was just like, why? Because most of us were already planning on going to see the movie. So it was just like, I would definitely like being part of like the promos and actually the makings of this movie. Like, that was a true honor. So I feel like everybody was well versed in what we had to do and like what we had to measure up to. So yeah.
Okay. Now, who selected the song? Did that come down from Dr. Chipman? Did it come from the movie producers, or how did that specific song get selected?
Got you. That's a really good question. And I will say that I think the song, like, hey, you guys should play this song, came from the movie producers in this and the third, because we all had to play the same song and it was just a matter of different variations. But what I will say is that our chief arranger, Mr. Lindsey B. Sargent, wrote it. And if you guys really listen, I don't know, most people can kind of tell there's certain differences in each movie, not just, from the uniform and just like the dancers or things like that, but it's also different in the music as well. We all didn't get the same piece of music. Our arranger wrote ours. And so you're able to identify certain different colors. And it's like everybody is playing the same song, but not really. Like, we have different arrangements. So I know Mr. Sargent arranged ours, and I feel like he has a lot of stuff in the vault that we play. Like, this isn't necessarily anything new, but he kind of tweaked it at certain things. And even that helped with, we have a certain number of students. It wasn't the entire band that was actually performing that, even though we seemed pretty huge. That wasn't even all of us. So I know that he kind of arranged it to where it was able to line up with the numbers so that it can line up with the formations so that it can sound good overall. So yeah, I will say that the song suggestion came from the producers, but we all have different variations of the song, different arrangements. So yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Of course.
Absolutely. And I didn't want to steal your last one there, Marcus, but I do kind of have a question, because you did mention having a female head drum major, and we've also seen our first female drum major. I think all this during your time in the 100. Could you just kind of speak about, what was it like having not just multiple female drum majors, but then how groundbreaking that was for the Marching 100?
Of course. So I will definitely speak on my experience with Dupe first and foremost, because when I came up in the 100 fall 23 on saxophone, Dupe was actually my assistant section leader. So seeing her in that light, and it was also her second year in the band as well. So seeing her step into that leadership standpoint, and also being very hands-on when it came to my freshman class. So it was just like, okay, we learned a lot of our fundamentals from her. And it seemed like very, how do I put this? She was like, you guys have to do this because it's for the betterment of humanity. Like, it was just like, whoa, like, you guys are giving us all this all at once. But it was just like, her love and drive for the band really showed in everything that she did. Like, she was in the front line. She was always doing her thing. She was very emotive. And it was just like, wow, like, just because you're going 110%, you make me want to go 110%. And it's just like, if I'm standing next to you, I'm not going to look crazy standing next to you. Like, what? And so just having that also pride as well is really what I think her greatest quality is and greatest attribute to the band. And you can always respect a leader based on, their title. Like, okay, I'm going to listen to you because you're my assistant section leader. But it's different because Dupe kind of had the opportunity to where it was like, I respect you because you're working for the betterment of all of us. I respect you because of the person that you are. And it's like, that's honestly the true makings of a leader right there. And that's what really has resonated with the band and has really shaped us to be the better versions of ourselves. Because I'm not going to lie, there were a lot of times where we've been booked and busy and it's just like the fatigue is showing. We ran this dance routine 50 times. It's 10 o'clock at night. I got an exam in the morning. Like, let's get this show on the road. But she was just like, all right, guys, everybody outdo the person to your left, or brass outdo the woodwinds. And we're just like, we're not going for that. So it's just like being able to know your audience is just like what really kept the energy in life alive when it comes to, executing things. Because band, it seems like we're always having a good time when it comes to performing, but there's a lot that goes into that. And especially with a woman spearheading that, it was truly inspirational. And I honestly love, because being able to see her go from my section, like affecting the section, to the entire band was so like wholesome and just very fulfilling. Because it's like, okay, like you're changing the environments that you're stepping in, and then the people that are coming up after you, because we're pretty heavily involved when it comes to band camp as well. The campers, the children love her, absolutely down for real. It's just like, okay, you're breaking so many like boundaries or just whatever, just really like just doing your thing and actually making it your own. And that's one thing that I can really applaud Dupe for. And especially with Corey being the first female drum major in the 100, she still comes around. She still shows a lot of face and really supports the band. But I know in her day, there was definitely a lot of obstacles that she had to overcome. So it's like she walked so that Dupe could run, so that we all can really thrive. Like the 100 has had a lot of eyes on them this season. And it's like, okay, instead of shying away from it, being like, dang, this pressure is so heavy, it's just like, nah, this is our time to go crazy. So yeah, that was my experience with that.
Now, going back to growing up in Atlanta, what part of Atlanta did you grow up from? Because I remember, Dupe and Corey were from Southwest DeKalb.
Absolutely.
That's
so
around
I'm from Cobb County. So kind of like the Metro Atlanta bubble right there. So I went to Pebblebrook High School, and actually like that was my first taste of like a traditional style band, because actually coming to FAMU, there was a lot of people coming from different places. Like you had some people in a core style band, they march completely different. Some people have never done a dance routine in their life. Like I actually had that FAMU structure, but it's crazy. We were more so styled around Alabama State. So that was a complete culture shock going from that to FAMU. So yeah, but I still love it.
All right.
Awesome. And question in the chat. What's your current classification? Oh my gosh, fat tongue over here.
My current classification at school, I'm currently a junior, and I'm a third year in the band. So yeah, just a little season, just a little bit. Not auntie yet, not auntie status yet.
You're still good. You're good. So, and you mentioned the youngins. Can you kind of talk about the band camp experience? We know band camp's coming up. We've seen the video coming out there, kind of talking about. I believe I want to say the kid might be an Orlando native. I feel like I've seen his face before. But could you just talk about the band camp experience and maybe how that might have influenced you to become a member of the best band on the planet?
Hello. I will say that band camp, okay, coming from my experience, I've never been to a band camp. I was never a band camper. So when I first came to the 100, it was like I had, your very traditional warm-ups. Like, okay, we play B-Flat warm-up. We play Total Praise at my high school. A lot of bands have that FAMU structure. I mean, hey, you can't go wrong with that. But going from that to FAMU, a lot of band campers turned to Marching 100 members. That pipeline is super duper strong. So I kind of felt like, oh my goodness, like they were very well equipped with the music, with the style, how things go, how kind of demanding it was. But it was just like a little taste, like a very watered down taste. It's to cater towards, the children. So I will say that band camp definitely, like, I went from being just not anything like at all, like, just regular 100 member who has never had that type of experience, to a band camp counselor. and really teaching the students. It's very hands-on. Like, you get the 100 experience for sure. Like, you're marching, you're waking up super early in the morning. Okay, we all wake up, we pray together, we eat together. It's a really big family. Like, we really pride ourselves on that. Like, no one should feel left out or sitting in the corner just like, dang. Like, of course you're gonna have certain kids where it's like, this is your first time away from home, this is your first time really putting yourself out there, this is your first time dancing the way that we dance in front of an entirely different group of people. And like, some people got it, some people don't. But I feel like, especially when it comes to the counselors, we're just like, nah. Like, that's the most fulfilling part about it all, because we stay up all day all night watching these kids, but we make sure that they have everything. Like, no one should really feel like that type of aloneness. And once you realize that you are not alone in this, and that we're all working towards the same goal, it's like, well, dang, now I can actually have fun with it, because it is demanding. Marching, like playing, dancing, the weather, oh my goodness, July in Florida, guys, wow. But I will say that it's just like, dang, you're super sweaty, I'm super sweaty, but I'm out dancing you, and I'm not going to let you out dance me. Like, it's always that kind of like friendly competition that the kids really live for. And I highly encourage, like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a FAMU band camp that I would encourage high school and middle school students to attend. Just any HBCU band camp, because it's like, you're getting that culture, you're getting that flavor, you're getting that, wow, like, this is that experience. And it's just bigger than, okay, well, at the end, we're going to put on a showcase. It's like, no, like, we all know the destination, but it's about the journey getting there. That's truly like the most fruitful thing ever.
Okay. A quick question, switching gears a little bit, I guess, over to the NBA on Prime video.
Gotcha.
How did you guys first become aware of that?
Got you. So I remember during the marching season, the season's kind of dying off in the end. Okay, we still have a couple games, and we already knew that we were coming to a close, but it's like, okay, Doc, what do you got up your sleeve? What you signed us up for? So it's like, okay, we were kind of ready for, like, he's going to throw something at us. We just don't know what it is yet. He's sliding this piece of music. Okay, what are we reading this for? So it's like, okay, but we're always going to try to stay ready so we don't have to get ready, because it's just like a lot of things go on behind the scenes. That's what I really applaud band staff for, because there's a lot of logistics. There's a lot of, things in regards to funding. Okay, how are we going to get from here to there? How are we going to execute this? Who's coming? What do we need to wear? Like, there's a lot of things that they handle, but they kind of give us things so it's not like, hey, we're recording this tomorrow. Yeah, I can't give you all the details yet, but we're doing this. So there have been instances where it's just like, we don't know, but Doc, we trust you. We're going to read this music. We're going to learn it. We're going to record it, and we'll just see what happens. And so when he finally told us, because we read it during the season and didn't touch it again until the next semester, and he was like, all right, so this is actually going through. So now we need to like memorize this music. Okay, let's figure out formations. Okay, this is what we're doing, guys. It's for common. Like, what? And we're just like, oh, that's so dope. Like, this, that, and the third. Especially coming from like FAMU alum, like notable FAMU alum. It's just like, okay, now we got to go crazy. So I remember we just read it. We were very familiar with it. And once we picked it up back again, it was just like, now it's the matter of execution. Now it's the matter of, okay, what are these elements that you need to fix? Okay, how can we display this to the audience properly to be able to, give that effect? Because it's like, Kahneman could have really picked anybody, but he knew that the Marching 100 had exactly what he needed. And so it's just like, let's give the people what they want. And so, yeah, and having just that go-getter mindset through it all, because mind you, this is an entirely new semester. Some of us, I know when it comes to underclassmen, they're kind of in that mentality of, okay, marching season's over. I get to chill my spring semester, like this, that, and third. But it's like, no, Doc has you on standby. So you need to be ready for that. And it's okay to be ready for that. You don't necessarily have to be like, dang, what's next? Like, because some people, I know for me, it's all about mentality. It used to be for me like, dang, there's always going to be something coming up. I never get a chance to rest. Da, 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 da. But it's like, no, like you could really, like, it truly is like an honor to serve. It really is an honor to be able to perform at these things. Because although like sometimes these things can be taken for granted until you realize like the end product, the history behind it, the significance behind it. We really are the sound of the league now. And that's like truly a blessing within itself. And, in the moment, it's like, okay, well, we're recording this video in the gym. It looks cool. Let's see what happens with it. And then it's like, whoa, wait, like we just recorded for comment for the NBA. We just got featured on Amazon Prime. What? And so it's like, the 100 is so used to like wash, rinse, repeat, execute, show, another banger after banger. But then you realize you could take a step back and be like, wow, I did that in one season. Like, what? And we're also approaching our 80th anniversary. So that's like something super historical within itself. And it's like, I get to be a part of that. I can look on the TV screen and see myself right there. And that's just something that's like, okay. And that's also a huge recruitment aspect for like incoming freshmen. That's like, okay, well, I want to do this. And I remember when we popped out last year with like our custom jackets from Fix My Soul, they were like, so are you guys running that back when I come up in the 100? Like this, that. We're just like, what the, like, we didn't realize that those little things really matter to those who are really looking to be in our position, to be in those like places. So yeah, especially when it comes to opportunities coming up like that for us, it's like, okay, this is another project, but what can this project really become? And how can this go down in history in regards to the Marching 100? And how can you leave your impact? And that's something that I really look forward to, and what helps me go through, you know, these tough times, because, hey, I'm still a student at the end of the day, but it truly is a blessing to be in the Marching 100 during these times.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if any NBA executives or players or even Common came through while you guys are recording?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we like Common was actually in Europe recording something. You know, these big time people are always doing something, but the fact that they're able to, like, he called us while we were in the middle of rehearsal, and Doc was like, do you want to hear it? He was like, of course. And so he heard it, and he actually had it on speakerphone wherever he was at recording, wherever he was at. He was like, man, that is so amazing. He was giving us such amazing, like, encouraging words. And so we were like, dang, like, we're really doing our thing. But then we didn't know that Jennifer Hudson was listening in on that phone call. And he was like, oh, Jennifer Hudson has something that she wants to say. We were like, what? Oh my God. Like, and so we were kind of like, and it was a little bit, I had a little bit of her, the phone call in the video of her like saying her 1-2. And it was like, wow. Oh, like, we're doing our thing, guys. Okay, cool. So they were actually able to give us some encouraging words and really just like, wow, thank you so much for being able to bring this idea, this dream to life for real. So yeah, that was our little experience with them. I know it was just Common and Jennifer Hudson. So yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Absolutely. And as we prepare to round out the segment here, question is kind of looking forward, right? I mean, you're kind of at that sweet spot of being your FAMU experience where you're a junior right before senior year. I promise you, senior year at FAMU, if you do it on time, is one of the fastest times of your life. But my question is this: what is your goal, right? We see that, and within our community, we always say, make a plan, make it plain, speak things into existence. What are you going to speak into existence for your FAMU experience within the band and outside of it?
Of course, that is a really great question. Thank you for that. I will say, as I'm approaching my senior year, it is a little bittersweet, I'm not going to lie, but I look back and I'm honestly proud of myself because, guys, I'm going to keep it a buck. Third day of pre-drill, I was entering that transfer portal. I was like, I can't do this. This is a lot. They have me waking up at 8 a.m. Like, all these other schools are playing crunk tunes. I'm over here playing In Storm and Sunshine. Like, what's going on? And so, but then I had such amazing women in, my sorority, who were leaders in my section. I would definitely say it was Dupe, Kendall, and El Carla. And they're just like, look, we know that the times are super duper tough, but it's hard now so that you don't have to get to the end and say, dang, I wish I would have did more. I wish I would have, maybe if I did this in practice, it would have been easier to go full out for this performance. And I'm like, dang, like, don't let all this hard work go into vain. And I really carried that with me throughout, my time during FAMU, and not just on the field, but also off the field, in the classroom, in my efforts to try to, pursue my career within marketing and things like that. And it's like, okay, if I'm going to do it, if my name is attached to it, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to give my all, and then try to bring up people and those who are coming up behind me. And for a little bit of my background, I'm currently the only student from my high school here. I'm the only one representing Pebblebrook High School. I'm not the only one representing Atlanta. Now, there is a lot of us. But what I will say, like, I would love to see my kiddos come up here. And it was, kind of bridging the gap between high school and college, like the financials that go into it being an out-of-state student, especially since it's increasing next year. That kind of hassle within itself, like, And I always go back around this time of year to give my college seminar to my kiddos back at home to be like, look, if you want to go here, it isn't because you don't have the money. It isn't because you don't have the grades. It's because you don't have the resources. Like, I'm over here equipping you with all that. Like, there should be, if you want to do it, go for it. Absolutely. There should be no type of obstacle that's really stopping you. And I feel like going down my own path to really show my kiddos that there is a way to do this given these circumstances. Like, there's always, if you want it that badly, trust it can happen. It's all about your mentality. And that's something that I want to leave behind, not just for those back in my city, but also those in my section, those in the same major as me, those who look like me, being, a minority. Well, it doesn't feel like a minority at my illustrious HBCU, but it truly is such a beautiful thing to do these things. And it's just like, look, it is a lot. And it's like beyond the glitz and glamour and just whatever, there's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of tireless nights. Like, I have my Red Bull right here, guys. We're still going. And there's always, where there's a will, there is a way. And I will say that if you're able, one thing I tell everybody, how you do one thing is how you do everything. How you wake up in the morning and intentionally eat breakfast is how you're going to intentionally achieve that W, is how you're going to intentionally do well in your classes. If you really want it that badly, you got it. And I'm going to be your biggest supporter. And that's something that I want to leave behind in the 100, because although we have a lot of eyes on us, that shouldn't be something that's very daunting. Like, dang, all this pressure, all this, are we going to fold? No, it's like, I've been given this opportunity. You're standing on the shoulders of giants, and one day you will become that giant so that someone can stand on top of you and you guys can just keep on going up. We were founded June 1, 1946. Dr. Foster, wow, we are the product of his wildest dreams, and we're still going. And that's something that I truly want to leave with everybody. And approaching my senior year, and it also being the 80th anniversary, there are so many things that I wanted to do. I know this year, because there's a lot of changes going on campus too. I wanted to build a mural, because we used to have a mural for TBS and KK side to really highlight the band. But, with times changing, we got taken off the Greek wall, all that jazz. But I was like, I want to leave this behind. I want to leave more history behind, really equip people with that type of knowledge, because knowledge is power. And the more that you know about your past and the organizations that you're trying to be a part of and just things like that, what it really took to get it off the ground is the most beautiful thing ever. Because 1946 was not a great time for Black people. Dr. Foster had to get it out the mud for us to get to where we're at now. We're getting police escorts everywhere we go, but it wasn't always like that. So it's truly understanding how the 100 has paved the way for bands across the nation, across the world, is something that I want to leave behind. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
and look, it's and make sure we say it right. Maricela Carlos-Valentino,
Okay.
right?
Close, very close. It's like the R is a D, so Maricela Carlos-Valentino.
Maricela.
Yes.
Okay.
Maricela Carlos-Valentino. Well, thank you so much for your presence and accepting our invitation, and know that you are a friend of the program. So we'll look forward to, at some point in the future, whether it's later this year or next year, perhaps having you come back on, and please, share with all the band members, your friends back home. We are on YouTube and other social media outlets with the program. And of course, on YouTube, it's recorded, so you can send your segment to all your friends and use it as promo to get even more superior, more band members to come and to come down and continue the legacy.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for inviting me out once again. Truly, it is an honor to speak with y'all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Make sure now come back for graduation, and don't forget to bring your cash app with you now so you can get blessed.
Hello. Hello. Thank you.
All right. We'll be back with you. And look, y'all, we're about to go to the break. On the other side of the break, man, we got some powerful folks. The FAMU Marching 100 started it off, but we got some more folks come in. We're going to let Maricela drop off real quick. Thank you, Maricela.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You do the same. All right. So, Marcus, we got, man, they're already back there, man. We're going to run a commercial real quick and get them in here.
Yeah, they're STEM folks. They come on time, come early.
So science technology, engineering, math. Yeah. You know, I was up there, you know, the IMAX. So good times. On the other side of this, man, we have Dr. Reginald Perry and FAMU's Associate Provost of Academic and Faculty Affairs and FAMU Agriculture, FAMU Agriculture and Engineering students. Yeah, I can't say a lot right now, but we're gonna have them here, and we're gonna talking here on the O&G Strike Zone about some amazing things they're doing to one of my favorite baseball stadiums that needs a little bit of love. Be back with us. You know, get your little break, get your little snack, put some ham and cheese, and come on back into the O&G Strike Zone.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. It might be. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively.
We are back. Man, I had to get that Southern. I'm still mad about them at the basketball tournament. I don't want to hear that. Feed my rivals. I don't want to hear that. Jokes aside, Carlos is good people, man. And mentioning more good people, man. Doctor, you got to make sure you put, people's proper titles on there. Dr. Reginald Perry. He is here. How's it going there, good sir?
Hey, how are you all?
I am well. It looks like you have brought some guests with you. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage. Man, look, ain't nothing like the FAMU Lee and our amazing students. That's why we do everything we do, right?
And if I can interject, Keith, I'd like to at least introduce the audience to Dr. Perry. And I believe I grabbed all the information. And actually, this is kind of special because I remember, and I'm telling my age, I remember when Dr. Perry came in, because I was a mechanical engineering student at the College of Engineering. So he came in, I think either the same year or the year after Dr. Fortenberry and Dr. Foreman came in the mechanical. So this was all around 89, 1990. So
Yes,
we were
sir.
really excited when he came in, and then both our Doctors Foreman and Fortenberry coming in as well. But reading the bio, he's currently the FAMU Associate Provost for Academic and Faculty Affairs. And he served as, after a long tenure at the FAMU FSU College of Engineering, starting in 1989 as an associate professor. In 1999, he was named the chair of the Electrical Engineering Department, and during that tenure, he implemented the first ABET accredited undergraduate degree program in computer engineering at an HBCU. And this was prior to being named the Dean of Student Affairs and Curriculum in 2004 for the College of Engineering. In 2023, he was named to his current role, which is primarily responsible for overseeing new faculty orientation and faculty training, the evaluation of teaching, faculty development, reappointment and promotion for, and I believe I have this correct, tenure, promotion, and appointments committee, and research and library faculty leaves, and processing, responding to faculty appeals and grievances and allegations against faculty misconduct. I don't know if that's everything, but that's, I tried to capture as best I could. And so, Dr. Perry, I've given a slight intro, but if you would mind introducing yourself and then introducing the scholars that we have with us to talk about the project, and then you can sort of introduce the project.
Yeah, okay. Well, I brought four very top scholars from the College of Engineering and also from the School of Architecture and Engineering Technology. And we're working on a project that's funded by a group out of, it's a consortium of HBCUs spearheaded by Miles College out of Birmingham, Alabama, called iLab 2150. And also Jackson State is part of this group. FAMU, and then also Voris is also part of this, and they're trying to expand this. But essentially, this group is trying to develop a skill set amongst students at these institutions in terms of starting up companies and entrepreneurship. So we were asked to belong, or asked to join this organization, and so the project that we decided to work on was a project to renovate the Moore-Kittles baseball field, but use artificial intelligence tools to help us do that. So these young students here are, again, from the College of Engineering and also from the School of Architecture and Engineering Technology. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with Jade.
Greetings, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hi, guys. I'm very happy to be here. I am Jade White. I am a second-year computer engineering scholar hailing from Orlando, Florida. Thank you for having me.
A little bit, Jackson. You're breaking up a little bit.
1 second.
Oh, we got you now. Now you're in there.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Jackson Norfless, a second-year industrial engineering scholar, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia, and I serve as the project manager for this project.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ashley Arthur Sadler Jr., architecture and military scholar from Jacksonville, Florida, and currently I'm serving as the project lead on the clubhouse.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Skartinsky Charlus. I am a third-year mechanical engineering scholar from Orlando, Florida, and I am the project lead for the lights.
So each of the students have taken the lead on one aspect, one component of the baseball field. And again, throughout this academic year, we've been learning how to use these various AI tools to not only do research on the institution, on baseball fields in general, on FAMU in general, but also how we can use them to do these designs. And it's really amazing. A lot of people know about the chatbot like, Chat GPT, but now there's a lot of work being done in a technology known as agentic AI, where basically you're creating these little AI agents that are able to do a lot more than just chat with you. And so the students have been spending this academic year learning how to utilize these tools in a way that makes productivity enhancements in terms of the things that they're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Now I have a slew of questions, so I don't know if we can get through all of them. So, and I'll try not to, get too engineering like for our audience. But I guess first and foremost, how did the partnership come about, and who initially made the contact? And also, how was the baseball field selected as the first foray for this team?
Yeah, we were invited to participate in the initial group of institutions with this collaboration. And so that's how we got involved with the iLab 2150 group. And the baseball field actually came from my love of baseball. I love baseball. And we were looking for something that we could have as a collaboration between engineering and the School of Architecture and Engineering Technology. And it just turned out to be kind of a natural fit in the sense of that the current field was last renovated back in 1980 or so. And so it's definitely in a need for a refresh. And so this just seemed to be a natural project for the student team.
Keith? Now I'll keep going, but Keith.
No, and you kind of mentioned that just the it's been over 40 years since the baseball field's been renovated. That's wild. But when you're kind of just doing this type of project right here, and I saw where the students have different project management things right there. I mean, I don't know if y'all know FAMU's got a project management program there. So I love that these students are being able to kind of double dip there. But do you see where maybe we can continue partnerships like this between the university and athletics and some of the other departments to benefit the university as a whole?
Oh yeah, definitely. The students have, one of the things about doing a project like this, you do what we call a needs analysis. And so the students have interviewed Coach Shoup. They've interviewed the director of facilities on campus. I know we were planning to interview some of the fans that go to the games, some of the players. And so it really has allowed us to, again, kind of go all around the campus to just kind of see what is really needed to do a kind of renovation like this.
Okay. And actually, that was going to be one of my questions, but I think you may have answered it in terms of how much end user input have you received as it relates to being implemented in the project? So not only, is it upgrading the field, but you're getting input from the people who will be using it after the design is complete, when it comes to fruition. I guess one other question I had is, for the current field, what have you found to be the most significant operational or functional challenge that the design improvements will address?
I'm going to let the students go ahead and answer that, because again, they've been doing most of the work. So Jackson, Jade, Ashley, Starkinski, go ahead.
I can take that question. So based on that, as a former baseball player myself, I can already see from an eyesight point of view of a lot of significant challenges. And based on interviews with actual players, I was able to get a lot of insight. They said that the outfield fence has been a prominent issue. Being that there's no padding on the fence, it can be very difficult for outfielders to try to make an aggressive play on a ball that may be hit towards the fence, because they're in fear of getting injured. As well as the facilities around the field, such as the bullpens and the batting cages, they want it to be like enclosed a bit, because it will affect their game plan and gameplay if it's in the open due to like winds, other factors of nature. So that's another thing that's been an issue. I also know they said they want to deal with the field itself. One thing they really suggested was a turf field, because currently it's a grass field, and that can make it very difficult to read balls coming off the bat, especially on a D1 level. So that's another suggestion that they have made and that I've seen as well. But for pretty much the point of view of myself, I see an issue with the outfield fence, the field condition, as well as the facilities surrounding the field as well.
And another thing to add with that, if we have the opportunity to add addition, the spectators, just because with the program being at the level that it currently is, winning a good amount of championships, the spectators should have an experience that it feels like they're seeing a team that is as good as they currently are. And it would make sense maybe if the team was a little bit run down, maybe the spectators would have like a sort of a rundown experience, but that's not what the team is. The team's a really good team. They're doing really good things, and the spectators, when they get there, they should really have a really good experience enjoying that because they're paying money to see a really good team doing what they do best.
Okay, thank you.
I love
And
that.
I would be remiss without mentioning that the engineering students are part of a project at the College of Engineering known as EASY. And I see that they're wearing their shirts. So why don't you guys explain that particular project?
Okay, I can take that again. All right. So EASY is educating engineers to educating engineering students innovatively. And pretty much it's a program that helps with professional development, academic support, and really just becoming a better person in general through connecting with other engineering students. And with the EASY program, I was able to be a part of this project and get connected with Dr. Perry, as well as meet other talented engineers such as Jade and Skartinsky, who I was able to connect outside of even the project. And I would say I built a personal friendship with each of them. So it's really helped with professional development to be able to publicly speak like I'm doing right now, as well as also be able to create an engineering mindset for me to be successful in the academic field and in the professional field. And the most importantly, it was able to help me understand how important it is to connect with others and give back to people who come after you to be able to ensure that they're successful as well.
Okay. And as students, could y'all speak to, each one of you mentioned that you were the project lead on a different aspect of this. Could you just speak to one delivering, and really staying on task, because and how it was being the project lead for your portion, but then bringing it to the whole and making it into a collective effort that was successful?
So I can start, if that's okay. So I'm going to start with the fact that I am the head of research. So obviously a lot of research is going to go into this. You have to crunch the numbers. You have to see what's been done on other fields. You have to see what can potentially be done to our field, what the coaches want, what everybody else will want. So I would say that I've been doing a lot of research on the side about everything that goes into it, all the different aspects, the different factors. And I think that that's kind of the foundation really for the entire project. I believe your question asked about how it ties into the whole thing, but simply, the research really is the entire thing. So the research is kind of the backbone behind how we know we can move forward, what we can financially do moving forward, and how we can, the plausibility of what we can do based on our research and based off of what the coaches want and what the players themselves want and the fans. Makes sense.
And then for me, I am the lead for the innovating the light systems that are within the baseball field. So one thing I would say, being a project lead for a specific one, but you're also able to see the other side of it, within all the other fields that that the other students are project leading. So you get a backstage view of what exactly needs to go on, from a project management standpoint, so that it makes it easier for you to assign tasks and just get everybody together. So that's the main way that I take it, for it tying together as a whole.
I say for me, since I'm the project manager specifically for the engineering side of the project, I would say it's more than just saying Jay do this, Scar do this. I have to make sure I put an account of making sure the project is moving efficiently and meeting the satisfactory of what Dr. Perry wants from us, whether it's action items or going above and beyond. So I really had to deliver time management, good communication skills within the team, and also be able to adapt in situations, because there's been times where Dr. Perry can attest to it as well. We try to get something done for the field, and we had to deal with a lot of obstacles to get that deliverable handled. But we had to pivot as well. We're talking about drones. We tried to get a drone for the field, but unfortunately we was not able to use a drone without getting approval from FAMU itself. So we had to find a lot of different obstacles to either pivot from the drone, as well as having good communication skills to understand this is our situation and we can't just sit on this, because that would inhibit us from moving forward in the project. And that's really taught me a lot of good leadership skills and just good teamwork skills as well, because I must say, like, my team is doing amazing. Like, Jay's research is doing amazing. Scar's deliverables is doing fine. And we have one other person named Evan who is not able to join us today. He's doing a great job as well. So I'll put say, like, being a project manager is easy when you have a team like this, but it does take some work.
Especially with the team being so tight knit, we have like a good number where people have to have their hands in different pots. It gives a great opportunity for them to understand this one part, whether it be research or lighting, and they can bring it into something else. For me, on the clubhouse side, which is a 2-story structure, it's pretty interesting trying to figure out how to make that player experience really good on both sides, whether they're at the game or beforehand or just at practice. And so really making sure that everybody sees the vision on each side, as well as everybody has a cohesive understanding of what we're trying to get to for the player and the players in the experience.
Okay. I do have a double question for the team. I guess for Dr. Perry, this may be more in your bailiwick. For the university at large, does this partnership with 2150 lay a foundation for integrating AI and other disciplines of study beyond STEM fields?
The university actually has created an AI council that includes all of the academic and non-academic programs at the institution. So we're definitely moving toward incorporating AI into a lot of things that we'll be doing on campus. To give you an example, we're looking at piloting a program this summer, which is kind of an AI tool for the students that will allow them to basically ask questions that they may have about being at the institution, and then the AI would respond back to them or forward that message on to a human if the need arises. So definitely integrating AI into a lot of the academic programs and also the non-academic programs is something that the university is moving forward to.
Okay. And the second part, I guess, something of interest, I guess, to myself and Keith and some of our audience, what's the probability once the design is complete that it'll actually get constructed and, well, go through that process? But I know this is a design exercise, but if and when this will actually move to dirt being moved and the structure being renovated?
Well, we've done some preliminary estimates, so it's going to be in the millions to actually do everything that we're proposing. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do it in pieces, phases, and then see if we can get funding for various phases, right? So, for example, we've already mentioned like the turf. That would be like one phase. The lighting would be another phase. The grandstands would be a phase. So this would definitely involve the entire university getting involved, especially advancement, foundation, because we're talking 7 figures easily to try to do everything that we're proposing for the renovation.
Okay, and when would, and I don't know if it's going to just be for the university itself, but hopefully publicly, when will we expect to see a finalized design for the project?
Well, actually, we are planning to go to a conference in, I think, 3 weeks, where we're going to at least present some of our preliminary results, not everything. But the date that we're looking at having the whole thing ready to present to the public is homecoming 2026. Is when we're looking for that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'll say it now, like the extended invitation to all of the team members to come back when you have some renderings or something, so you can once again present to the audience, either at same time homecoming week, or maybe give yourself some time to recover from homecoming and come back on the show and show, once again, be able to present the fine work that you're doing.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to doing that.
And Keith, did you have anything else?
Absolutely. Before we get them up out of here, man, look, we got all these amazing students on here. I mean, you're attending the greatest university anyway. But could y'all quickly kind of, I know we got a couple Orlando babies. I'm not going to be too biased for my adopted home, but could y'all each kind of talk about, where you are as far as graduation and what are your goals post your FAMU experience?
I can take this one. I'll go first. So, yes, I'm from Orlando. So I'm currently a sophomore. So I'll be graduating in hopefully 2 years, maybe 3, but hopefully 2 years. I'm gonna say 2. I'll be graduating in 2 years. And what I really want to be is I'm really interested in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. So when I graduate, I really want to work in those fields specifically. Of course, I'm open to a lot of anything in regards to computer engineering, but I know that cybersecurity and artificial intelligence is where I really want to be. And specifically in Austin, Texas, because their technology side is growing really rapidly in Texas. So I believe that's where I want to be once I graduate.
I'll go next. I'm also from Orlando. Grew up in Orlando my entire life. I'm currently a third year, and I'm a mechanical engineering scholar. So hopefully I graduate next year. Fingers crossed. So yeah, within the next year I should be graduating. I'm very much interested within the project management, software engineering side of things. But I'm also very open to pretty much anything. Wherever I find a home at, that is where I'll be at. So I've been in Florida my entire life, so I would really like to branch out to go see the world, But if my opportunity is in Florida, then that's where I just find myself. And I would really love to be somewhere where I can actually make an impact on people's lives, just seeing my work come to life and seeing people benefit from that. That's something that I am very passionate about. So that's one of my main goals for myself once I graduate.
So I'm not from Orlando. I'm actually from Atlanta, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? The fo, the A, the best city in America. Yes, sir. And I would say I'm actually going to be graduating probably in 2.5. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal, 2.5, 3. But it's okay though, because honestly, as long as I get my experiences and I have a solid GPA right now, Lord willing, you know what I'm saying? Glory to God for that one. Because engineering is definitely tough. So 2.5, 3. And after graduation, I plan on being a leader. So specifically in operations leadership, like a plant manager or a plant lead in manufacturing, because as an industrial engineer, mostly we focus on breaking a company from one spot and building it to the next level, So whether it's income increase, product increase, etc., whatever the company's goals are, industrial engineer's job is to not only meet those goals, but exceed those goals. And if I wasn't doing manufacturing, I'll probably be in corporate America, probably doing consulting, you know what I'm saying, risk advisory, or just project management and consulting as well. And I do plan on getting involved in whatever community I'm in. If I'm back in Atlanta, I definitely want to be involved in the community, maybe doing leadership in Atlanta, so that's really an aspiration for me to get back to my city.
For me, first generation Caribbean American college student from Jacksonville, Florida. Currently, I'm in grad school with the SAET program, architecture, getting my master's in architecture, but I may pivot into the SBI school because I always got to love business. But really figuring out which path I want to go with. And currently I'm in the Army National Guard through the Army ROTC program at FAMU. So there is that side. So it's government side, but also architecture, design, and business side. So on that side, still figuring it out. On the Army side, it's kind of solidified.
Awesome. Amazing.
Awesome.
Man. And I love the love. I saw the chat. You got my Dean of Pledges up there dropping his name in there.
Well, dude, thank you all for your time. I know it's late. You may have homework to do or you're just tired from the day, but I do appreciate the time that you guys have spent with us and for accepting the invitation. We saw the PR release about a month ago and wanted to endeavor to make sure that we get your work that you're putting in publicized to the masses, to the Rattler Nation. So once again, thank you, Dr. Perry. Thank you, all of you, for the time and dedication, not only to come on and share with us tonight, but also the work that you're putting in to improve FAMU and also to pursue your professional endeavors.
And thank you for the invitation.
Yes, and we'll look forward to seeing you. When's homecoming? October 31st this year. So we'll pencil you guys in, or somewhere around October, we know. So we'll put you in for early November.
Like okay,
early November, pending exam schedules and everything, that come back and display the design. So we can all ooh and ah over it.
Well, we look forward to that.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
24. All righty, good people. We appreciate y'all.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh man, look, good times there, Marcus. Look, man, look. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I worked for the department, the engineering side of FAMU for a little bit. That's all I can claim. All right, man. We're going to one more break and then kind of, celebrate the week's events. And then we're going to try to get these call lines going. I think a certain member of the O&G might be itching to call in and kind of talk about Quinn's message to the folks at the Orange Blossom Classic this year. We got y'all. Quick break. Don't go too far. Don't go too long. We're gonna cut about 2 minutes and change. All right. When we come back, more of O&G StrikeZone.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically Black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
And we are back. No big production, no big song. Get y'all ready, man. So we're back. Marcus, look, good times, right? So
Yes.
Marcus is locked in. This week, FAMU baseball, FAMU softball, solid. Coach Beal went back home to Auburn, if you want to call that home. Tallahassee is currently home, but it is what it is. And then FAMU basketball's finished for the season. Mercifully. Depending on what side of the fence you are on that. But today we had both the Rattler 220 call. Had that go on. And you also had Coach Quinn Gray and Coach Chennisberry go down there and deliver some exhilarating speeches. I caught part of Coach Berry's. I caught the snippet of Coach Gray, especially when he was talking about really in trying to get others to come in, right? And really bring others into, I don't necessarily want to say our space, right? That might be a little disingenuous or selfish, right? So how do we get others to start coming to support not just the Orange Blossom Classic, but these classics in general? And we're gonna open up the call lines. I turned it off because it plays background music, and I ain't that smart to focus on everything like that at one time. So how do we get other groups to come out to these events? How do we make it something to where it's more of a celebration of HBCUs in general versus just a celebration of the two HBCUs that happen to be playing in that event at that day?
Ooh, that's a great question, because the Celebration Bowl, the last one I went to, FAM was in it, but it seemed like there were events. There's enough ancillary events for everyone. So I'm not sure if there's anything that's missing in terms of things to do. Just getting people into the stadium, and to some degree, I don't have an answer, but to some degree, I know some teams have a similar issue with folks who tailgate versus coming in. So I don't know if the same solution would fit both, and whatever that solution happens to be, just to understand or appeal to the sports aspect of it, just being a football fan or a basketball fan, to what you were mentioning earlier about having a tournament during the Celebration Bowl or sometime during the Christmas, just making sure that we're appealing to the sports fan in that person, and not necessarily allowing their team allegiance to be an excuse.
I agree with that. I think also part of it is just you got to have it in the right city, right? I mean, and y'all see the QR code there. If you want to scan and make a donation to the O&G, definitely do that. But I think part of it is the city. I remember with that Celebration Bowl. That's where I met Marcus in person. So we got to kind of dap up in the airport. But I think one of the things that was beautiful about that and smart about it was the fact that they had a lot of, as you mentioned, ancillary events. Like there were parties going around it. I do remember HBCU Nightly. They had a party and they're like, hey, come here. We're throwing this party. We're doing this thing here. And I think that's some of the things that you can really take advantage of. Use those places, like, use those influential people. We have Dr. Cavill, you got Scotty, you got, the O&G, you have those shows and those people who have a platform, Casey, Ken Clark, and everyone else, where get some of them out there and have them serve as party hosts. And that maybe draws in them and their, I don't want to say followers. Followers isn't probably the nice word to say, but the people that patronize them, right? To be able to come out and support. But then, hey, while you're out there, come out and support this different event and this event and show up at the Celebration Bowl, because we're going to be there. So I think those are some of the different ideas and nuances that you may be able to add to it, because it was a good time. And honestly, it wasn't just a good time because FAMU won a Celebration Bowl. Much like you, I kind of went in and I was like, you didn't go to FAMU or Howard. Why are you here? And they're like, oh, I just come every year. It's just fun. I'm like, and they kind of made you think of it more like an HBCU Super Bowl. And I think if it comes to a place where you can think of it less of a bowl game that you're going to for your team and more of a Super Bowl, then it has that pageantry of, hey, this is the grand finale for all of them. Let's all be there.
Agree. And I don't know what initiatives have already been done, so I could be, already or speaking something that's already been done, but engaging the various alumni groups in Atlanta, whether it be for school or whether it be fraternity or sororities, and asking them, if they haven't already been asked, and it probably has already been done. But hey, buy a block of tickets and try to pull people in, because I know afterwards, I saw individual people just from other SWAC schools who took pictures and selfies in the stadium, and I don't know to what degree. It may have been like, hey, let's make it a concerted effort, like the Atlanta area, I don't know, Alabama A&M alumni chapter. Okay, let's buy a block of tickets or something like that, or even PV, because I'm thinking of the two young ladies that I see on social media, and something along those lines. And I'm sure there's probably been marketing to it, but just an idea in terms of coming out to support en masse versus individuals from a school. Like, hey, I just want to go support, but if you go as a group or offer group incentives, which they may also do in terms of alumni chapters for either the schools or for fraternities or sororities, or even approaching the various high schools and middle schools. And they may do that as well, just to make sure we have some groundwork as it relates to funneling some of our youth in Atlanta and the surrounding areas to go to HBCUs, having a groundswell effort there as well. So those are some things just to throw out, which may have already been done, but just some ideas.
I like that idea, and I almost wonder. Kind of, we mentioned the basketball tournament earlier. What if you could even go as far as including the SIAC and the CIAA to have two of their teams also have a game there, where you make it an actual weekend where it's almost like a package deal. You get 2 tickets for the for the price of one. I mean, obviously somebody's got to make some money, but you get maybe a discount for getting a ticket to both games, and have one Friday, one Saturday, something like that, and then it becomes like a true celebratory thing where you're really bringing all the HBCU conferences that play football together. I think that's maybe something else that could be thrown out there. Again, that's just throwing something on the wall, see if it sticks, and if it sticks, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they have committees that are just brainstorming about that as well. But we have to make the effort to come inside the stadium as well, because it's not like it's a mystery. It didn't sneak up on us.
You're absolutely correct. And look, we're going to open up the phone lines a little bit. I got the music in the background. It drives me nuts. I try to find a way. I'm going to find a way to mute it. But if you are so inclined, look, feel free to join in on the call, join in on the fun. It is Marcus and I today. I know Brian is kind of back there in the area there. 617-829-6654. The lines are open. Definitely feel free to join in, and I'll get you over here on the other screen and kind of get it right. And I'm gonna probably just cover up the screen with the little O&G logo. So I did take some liberties. So talk about the game. What game is it? It is going to be the Celebration Bowl game that we were talking about. So see if you guys can join us on here and see. Look, when you get the fangs up on here, I kind of break the rules, but not break the rules. So Brian's trying to introduce us a little bit, see how we doing it, man. So yes, do we have phone lines? Got a little phone line tonight, so if it works, we're gonna keep it up, man. So again, 617-829-6654. While we mention that though, Marcus, kind of share with them some of the things that you thought made that Celebration Bowl successful, and some of the things you'd like to see again.
Ooh, well, I kind of have FAMU bias, so I would have been going regardless. But well, of course, the location makes it. And I think we had 2, and you can't control this aspect of it, but you had 2 programs that have notable followings. Now, I wasn't in the city proper to understand in terms of this marketing, but I do recall that it's not school specific, and they do kind of market it towards being the HBCU, or at least Division I HBCU Super Bowl, if you will. So I think that aspect of it. I just don't know in terms of the outreach, and I'm sure they're doing something. I just don't have a full awareness of everything that they're doing. but I really enjoyed it. And I'm not a super party person. And actually, I had my daughter down there with me, and she was at Dell State at the time. And I'm not a party person anyway. I left that back at FAM like my freshman year. But she was down there. And she actually helped do some producing on Media Day. So she was in a broadcast journalism major. So she was helping produce on Media Day. So Brian and Roy were kind enough to allow her to do that and get some experience there. So I think involving all age groups, and once again, making it holistic in terms of all the different aspects of the game itself and about ancillary events. And I think they do a good job of it. And I think adding the Battle of the Bands and including, I think they had a high school showcase just before the final Battle of the Bands. So all of that's working to pull those things in. And I think that'll only work to make it better, more well attended throughout the whole weekend.
I agree. And I like Mike's point about advertising it earlier. Like, I think even right now, I don't know if we're doing an adequate job of even advertising the MEAC SWAC Challenge. Like, I mean, I know right now, honestly, I know they have the one in Philadelphia. I think that's what Delaware State and in North Carolina Central, I think this year. But how many of these HBCU games in particular are really advertising this early, but not just how many of them are advertised this early, but how many of them are kind of out there telling people to like, hey, buy tickets, get your tickets now, get your hotels, and really selling the event. Because as you stated, if you can have the groups kind of buy into it, they'll do it. But it's the point of, can we get them in there? So,
And I agree with Mike Reed's point about incentivizing. I don't know if and I don't know how you would go about doing. I guess you'd have to buy it in a block or do something, or buy it through a certain venue in order to make sure it's an accurate count. But if you make a competition in terms of which group or groups, so the top 5 groups, to bring people or buy tickets in block or through a certain venue, so you can make sure, okay, all the I don't know, the Howard alumni chapter brought 800 people or something like that. If you purchased it through a certain way, and it's can be allocated that way or tallied up that way, and make that a challenge within the game, and some type of incentive or prize or something that would go to that group.
Absolutely.
So that kind of stirs the competitive juices as well.
Absolutely. We closed up the phone lines. It was background noise and hadn't had any of y'all call in yet. So we're gonna try it again. I think might be the time, and Brian, folks sleepy. But
they're on spring break.
We're on spring break, and it's football season is not here yet. So we're gonna try it again during football season though. But I'm excited about the idea. Mentioning football season though. And we got like about 10-12 minutes, right? Rattler orange and green game is coming. The O&G game is coming, if you want to put it like that, right? With that game coming up, how excited? What position are you most excited for coming up, Marcus? Just going into that season, that game. So,
I guess for me, it's probably defensive line and linebacker, just because I think we had the most significant losses there in terms of number of players and experience. And that was probably the biggest challenge last year, where the defense overall was very generous. So nice. I was looking for our defense to be a little stingier this year.
I agree with that. And we kind of mentioned the orange and green game, but kind of glossed over Pro Day is tomorrow, I believe. So
it is.
I was pretty interested to see some of the names that are going and some of the names that aren't participating. Some of them weren't a complete shock. We do know that, for all intents and purposes, some of the players have definitely hung up the cleats, which I'm not mad at. I believe Nayron's pretty much like, hey, it was a good run, fun while it lasted. But, let me upload the image real quick so that way we have a point of reference, right? Instead of just talking about stuff. Argue with some data, right? But not that one. There we go. This one. Here we go. All right. So you can see right there, it is Charles Davis, offensive line, Cameron Donald, defensive line, Ashton Grable, offensive line, Thad Franklin. They threw me off with the Thaddeus. I'm like, Thaddeus, who's
Yeah.
that? TJ Huggins, Elijah Philippe, Ricky Taylor, Jalen Thomas, Amari Lee, and Jerome Nichols. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little surprised to see Amari Lee up there. I know he's a senior, but one of the ones I was a little surprised to see up there. But honestly, if there's two of them that I'm really looking at, and it's really three. It's probably Cam Donald, Ashton Grable, and Thad Franklin are the ones that I really got eyes on. I think TJ Huggins is got an opportunity as well, but I think everybody may have a chance. But those are my 3 or 4. If you were like, hey, you're a scout, who do you need to look for? Those are the guys who's like, they're going to jump out.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I think Amari Lee was I think maybe 2 weeks ago, I saw something from his Instagram that said he was declaring for the draft versus being in the portal. Mm-hmm. So we saw that, and I think we shared it on a previous show. But yeah, it's an opportunity for them, and it'll be interesting. And I guess the drills are all the same, but I guess it'll be interesting just to understand the aura around how this pro day is going to go, since we're having a new coaching staff and we're not having an incumbent coaching staff that was here in the fall to actually run the pro day in the spring. So I guess that would be kind of unique in a sense. But I guess we did it 2 or 3 years ago when Coach Simmons left for Duke, and then Coach Colsey was running the pro day that following spring. But it'll be interesting. I don't know if there'll be any changes or any nuances that would be different from previous years, but I wish everyone well.
Agreed. And one of my questions is definitely going to be, how does the season's results, right, and not just for FAMU but for both schools, impact who shows up at the pro day? I mean, both schools had a subpar season. I don't care if you're FSU fan or not, but both FAMU and FSU were not what either wanted them to be. I'm not going to say expected. I wonder how that affects who comes out for the draft, because I can tell you honestly, there's nobody really at Florida State that jumps out to me, and there's a few guys at FAMU that they grab my attention. So how does that impact a scout coming in to be able to look and say, they have a great season, hit or miss this guy, hit or miss that guy? Like, how does that affect what's going to happen? But then how does the benefit of what you've seen FAMU guys turn into with the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, you look at them in particular, 4 HBCU guys on an active roster, they probably have more than any other team in the NFL. That's very interesting right there.
It is, but I imagine a scout, not having been one, but I'd imagine that they may be focused more on individual performance versus the team. So even if the team was subpar, but if they zoom in and watch the film from someone who's in an area of need or flashes enough to say, hey, we want to take a chance and build our depth, and perhaps this person would develop into a starter, that I don't know to what degree team success has a role in whether they come or not. But maybe if the scout believes that somebody's flashing, and if there's a need based on their current roster or their plans for free agency, whether it be getting free agents or telling someone you're going to be a free agent. So prepare yourself.
Yeah, I think that's I think we're going to see more than likely. I can't think of any HBCU players that are like for sure going to get drafted. I'll leave it there. I think you have some that are draft talent worthy, yes, but this wouldn't be a season where I'd be surprised. And can I just go ahead and say it? The outrage over the number of HBCU players that will not be drafted is probably pretty fake. I mean, we know maybe 1 or 2, and part of that is just attrition. Like, there's more schools playing football now than there were 30 or 40 years ago. So, some of that is, I can't believe it. And then someone's also not realizing that how many Division I schools are there now versus how many Division I or what used to be Division I single A teams are there now.
Yeah, there's a different dispersion of talent. And there's that dispersion of talent with the number of teams, but also with the advent of the portal now, and with, I guess, junction enforced unlimited transfers. I mean, look at us coming out of the Celebration Bowl. 2 of our best defensive players went to FBS schools.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so you not only have 130 teams that a recruit can go to, but now you have 130 teams that a transfer can go to, whereas before it was limited, going back, 15, 20 years ago, maybe not that long. I think, maybe 15 years ago, the only way someone could transfer laterally, whether it be FBS to FBS or FCS to FCS, was as a grad student. And then before that, during that same time and before, the only way you could transfer without sacrificing a year was to drop down a level. So now it's provided more opportunity for the student athletes, but the combination of the number of teams, even in the state of Florida 20 years ago or 25 years ago, you didn't have, the number of Division I teams were probably half of what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
So not only the proliferation number of teams, but the opportunities of places where a transfer or someone can go to school, either coming out of high school or as a transfer.
Absolutely. And, you can't get me and Marcus together. We're not going to say something about it. So just going to go and put it out there. I did create it. I ain't gonna lie. But I missed one. We got a DB offer, South Florida, Lorenzo Johnson III. I know it says fangs up on the O&G StrikeZone. Look, I'm here. But we got some offers that did go out, man. Want to make sure, y'all right, let's pay these kids attention. Follow them on social media. This right here, Keith Richmond. I don't know. Did you see his video? He's like,
I did not.
I project him as probably like a 2 or 3 star prospect. Defensive end, got a nice amount of bend to him. But he's got offers from other schools. Lorenzo Johnson doesn't have quite as many offers, not quite as tall size wise, but South Florida DB. So you can tell those inroads of having a Billy Roll on your roster are benefiting right now. HBC Band Talk, stop cussing in the chat. But again, you're not gonna get the 2 recruiting guys together and we not say nothing. Also, FAMU basketball has been very active out there. I believe we got a commitment for FAMU softball as well not too long ago. So you're seeing some things come to fruition that should give you hope. Just recruiting wise, I know we talked about the spring game. I ain't gonna lie to you. That kid from Georgia, that quarterback, yes. Yes. I don't know if you saw the video he posted over spring break, but he was at home and he throws a little sidearm, and I'm not mad at it. Like, he's like 6'3", throws the ball a little sidearm, got some zip on it. Like, I'm just telling you, there's hope for the FAMU quarterback room, and you're going to add another one. Like, yeah, it's going to be some good times. I'm waiting to see some more things that are coming up there right there.
Mm-hmm. It should be good. And also, I'm kind of looking forward to, I don't know if Coach Gray is going to, I'm assuming he will, but release a spring game roster, because there's already been at least one surprise name that popped up, not necessarily from the roster, but he puts out, at least the last couple weeks, he's put out, I guess, like the athlete scholars or scholars of the week for each.
I like that.
Each position. And there was a young man who, I don't know if he went to I don't think he went to Chapel.
Not the one that went to Arkansas State, was it? Receiver?
No. Not is it Quan Lee?
Quan Lee, yeah.
But there was a gentleman, Outar, I think it's Outar. He's from Miami, and he went to a Division II school, and he jumped in the portal and didn't, know about him until Coach Gray had his name on the Scholar of the Week, or however he's calling it. I've forgotten the name, the badge he's given, the promo that he puts out for. But I was like, oh, that's a name I haven't seen before. So I did a little digging. So I had to put him on. But overall, the spring game roster typically has about 4 or 5 surprise folks who may either walk on or were on the scout team before and elevated. So we may see some surprise names there. Plus, after the spring, right now, I don't think they have a portal window, or at least they have to put their name in by 15th or something like that. But they don't have to they don't have a window like we do in Division I, so they can declare anytime. And there's been a couple of Division II folks. I think there was a defensive lineman from Benedict that declared a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and we've already offered him.
And is that the linebacker you were talking about, or is it the was it the? I'm trying to see. I see Kanari Wilcher up there, Derek McGree, Ryan Hall. Okay.
No, Ryan Hall. He was a freshman from last year, but his name is Outar, Outar. It may have been the first one that he sent out.
Gotcha.
A couple weeks ago. Academic Players of the Week. So it was like the first one. I was like, that name. I haven't seen that one. Gabe Perez is a transfer from FIU, came over last year.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this roster. You know, I'm kind of high on it anyway, but I'm liking what Coach Quinn's putting together. I think we got a good opportunity, and we're gonna have some good times to talk a little trash this season. So, so yeah. Any things before we get up out of here, Marcus? I know you got some things to do, man, and.
No, just I think a 220 Club. I got a chance to watch a little bit of it today, so it was good to see the track folks out there. So we saw Mr. Dawkins and Coach and Tayana Adams representing track today, and so that was good to see them. I don't know if there's any revelations that came out of it, of the 220 Club. I did not get a chance to watch the OBC kickoff press conference. So I don't know if there's anything other than Coach Quinn Gray, you know, extolling the virtues of participating and making sure that we have a full house for our games. But I'm not sure if there's any other news, anything that we didn't know that happened. So I'd be welcome to hear anything, if anyone else, what they gleaned from the press conference.
Chennis Berry is a great orator. I enjoy, you know, just listening to him. He's really good. I will say, if you didn't catch it already, the spring game tailgates out there. I'm excited for that. That's something I've been kind of banging the drum for a little bit. The Rattlers in Arms are doing some amazing things, not just because I'm a member of the Rattlers in Arms at the low level. I'm a low level member, but I'm in the building. But if you are so inclined, you are going to the home game there. Go check out the spring game tailgate. I believe the Fang Exchange is doing that.
And Friends of the Fang Exchange. And I think there's two of them, because I saw a graphic today that seemed to imply football alumni was doing one in the parking lot, and Fang Exchange is doing one in the practice field. So yeah, I wasn't sure if these were the same things or two different events, because Fang Exchange is actually from the graphic that I saw from them is going to be on the practice field.
Yes, yep. And I see one now that says stadium parking lot. So I don't know. Y'all they're gonna figure it out, and they're gonna tell you. Go back and watch Tashay and Ashley tell you all about it. But yeah, if you're gonna be up there, go enjoy it. Unfortunately, unless I find my way in the back of Brian's car somewhere, I doubt I'll be up there. I think I'm pretty almost for certain. But yeah, so you know, Voice of FAMU football will be there more than likely. But overall, it's some good stuff coming out. I'm ready for spring track season 2.
Oh yeah, and Junior Day is coming up on that same day, April 3rd. So I guess they're gonna come in and watch the spring game. So Junior Day, and they already have the graphic out with the QR code. And also, I want to give a shout out to the cheerleaders and the football players who visited Tallahassee Memorial Hospital this week.
I saw that.
There's a picture in the script. I'm going to pull that up, but I've seen between Twitter, various accounts, the football account, I think Coach Roll put one out there on Instagram that they went out and visited and hopefully brought some cheer to some folks who are going through some tough situations, but prayerfully on the road to recovery.
Absolutely. And I can add that to the stage right fast. I got it on the pull it up on the Twitter right there. So yeah. Did it pull up? There we go.
And Coach Gray, extolled the virtues of making sure we're out in the community and serving the community. So just continuing that so that we can continue to make sure FAMU's presence is felt.
Absolutely. And I see Orlando native Ace Cobb in there. So I see you, Ace. from the Great Jones High School here in Orlando, Florida. So, but overall, man, I'm enjoying seeing that. I'm ready to see some more, man. Any parting shots before we get up out of here, Marcus? I know Brian and Kelvin couldn't quite make it out on assignment. Getting ready. You'll probably see one or both of them at the tailgate. So sometimes we got to work from here. And look, if all else fails, I might be hosting the tailgate from here.
I think this weekend, I think we got a big series coming up against Bethune-Cookman in softball. I'm not sure who we play in baseball. I have to look at the schedule. Oh, and also the bowling team, we have to give them props for this weekend for making the SWAC tournament. They, I think, got knocked out in the first round. But, we have, I don't know, I think 10 members. I'd have to go back and look. And all of them are freshmen except for one.
Yes.
So that's boding well for the bowling team that we made the SWAC tournament with all freshmen. And I believe one of our freshmen, a young lady from Fort Wayne, Indiana, made the all SWAC bowling team.
Yep. And we have Alabama State. They played Troy today. I didn't get the final results from the game against Troy. Last I heard, we were up against Troy in Tallahassee. Okay. So yeah, some good things up there. Hopefully we get some field updates, some stuff done over there at the Moore-Kittles field. So neon night, camo night, and youth baseball night is on Sunday. So bring the kiddos out there. It's not even a night game, it's a day game. So go right after church, get you some Popeyes and call it a day, man. Oh man. So Brian's on assignment, Kelvin's on assignment. And to answer your question, is O&G StrikeZone planning on doing a remote for the spring game? We'll get back to you on that. How about that?
It has been no. Yeah, we cannot confirm, deny, or put Brian under the, putting pressure on him, but it has come up that at least the question's been asked.
The question has been asked, and if we cannot do it, we may do like a little mashup remotely and, do a little something somewhere. One person mans a home studio while the others are out and about. So how about that?
Yeah, and the challenge on being on a Friday. So I know for Brian, he'd have to leave early in the day. So I don't know what his schedule would be.
Take off school. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. So, and for me,
if it was on a Saturday, he probably could push it, but don't want to commit him to it. But yeah, being on a Friday evening or Friday afternoon, evening.
Yeah. Probably. Is it Friday? What time is the spring game again? It's like 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for a shower.
Yeah. Don't throw Brian under.
Oh no. He's the boss man.
Look, I'll tell y'all, we've already had the conversation. If we can pull this off, it's gonna be a team effort. How about that? So all right, y'all, man. For everybody at the Black College Sports Network, I had to slow down and say that the right way because I almost said the wrong network. And look, Marcus, myself, Kelvin, Brian. Look, thank y'all for watching. Next Wednesday, come back for the O&G StrikeZone, 8 o'clock. Be here or be square. And fangs up. I'll see y'all on Sunday on HBCU Digital right after AD Drew and Brian finish. Sometimes they run over, so I, run a little late watching them. But as always, man, y'all already know what's up. What it's always gonna be. Fangs up here on the O&G StrikeZone. All right, y'all. Peace out. Let's see if Brian got me all set up. If not, I'll set it up myself.